Let me set this back to the original. Audio. Set that. Okay. So I have a clip for you today. I'm going to share, and thank you for first of all being here. But I want to play a clip. I came across this in the last day, but I'm going to play a clip for you just to set this all up first. But Justice Department to investigate police response to the Uvalde school shooting. But before I go into everything that I have, I'm going to play this clip. And hopefully you can hear it the way I have the audio set up. And let's go. I'm going to play this right now.
So, you catch our show? You got any constructive criticism? Constructive? But your students, isn't that enough? Come on.
So you probably wasn't able to hear this. I'm going to start it back.
Demonstrated why you don't deserve it.
All right, then all we were doing was exercising our right to free speech.
Oh, come on. The First Amendment does not give you the right to turn the school into a rave. You have responsibilities. Responsibilities to the school and to me.
Look, Mr. Turner,
We had a deal, boys. Now, why was it so important for you to get back on the air that you were willing to shaft me?
You wouldn't understand.
Well, pretend I'm stupid.
We went on the radio.
Pretend I'm smarter.
Mr. Turner, we're just trying to find our place. You know, we're only 7th graders.
But you're students, isn't that enough?
Come on, you remember what it's like. Everybody else seems to know who they are, where they belong. But we're nobody.
So being on the radio would help you.
Yeah, I mean, if we're on the radio and everyone thinks we're cool, then we don't get lost in the shuffle.
You feel lost? What about you?
Yeah, sometimes.
You know what? I bet a lot of people feel that way.
Well, maybe they do, but I'm sure they don't want to talk about it.
Well, I'm sure they do.
How do you know?
Look at all the calls we have already.
We're on the air.
Someone must have turned on the switch accidentally.
They heard all that.
You guys, you don't have to do lunchtime lust just to get an audience. All you have to do is be honest. People listen to that too. Hello, you're on the air.
Yes, I'm a first-time caller. Love the show.
You have a question?
More of a comment, really. I thought you did a commendable job handling a rather difficult situation.
Thank you, caller.
And I do have a question. I'm curious as to what you think the appropriate punishment would be for your two guests.
I'm thinking a week's detention.
Couldn't quite hear that. Seems to be some static on the line.
A month's detention.
Loud and clear.
Well, you know, that's one man's opinion. Let's hear from some other listeners.
I say lock them up and throw away the key.
Get off the phone, Aaron.
Let's let this play out a little more.
Guys, trust me. You got off easy. There's a lot worse that could have happened to you.
Is that a Zen buzzer? It's the 2 American boys who tried to tie me up.
So that one was a show from one of my favorite. Yeah, yeah, I love the show too, and I was this even today. A lot with everything going on. This show has a lot of things that you can look back on. That the teachings from Mr. Feeney, the teacher, I a lot of stuff that it's totally relatable today. But I came across this clip just this week, and after the shooting here in my home state of Texas and the Uvalde, and I'm gonna go over a few things of the latest coming up with that. But what this clip touched on and with them going on the radio is they're going after attention, and that's what I think this is all about. Like this, it's we're in an attention economy, right? And the reason why these people like do this stuff is for attention, negative, good or negative. I'd rather be dead and hated than alive and anonymous is typically the way things goes. And watching this clip, and I just actually watched the full clip. I encourage you to go back and watch like every season of this, every season, every episode. It's a good show. It's still, again, like I said a minute ago, still revolves today. But latest today, I just I'm gonna share this in the group that I started. Well, that's why the main purpose of it. I just decided to live stream this as well. But last in the day, coming from Austin Justice Department to investigate police response to the Uvalde school shooting, and I'm just want to go over some facts and numbers and just bring out why maybe this stuff is happening. I don't know anything. I'm going off other people that maybe more closely on the ground and everything. In Austin, Fox 7 in Austin says the Justice Department said Sunday it will review local law enforcement response to Uvalde, Texas school shooting and unusual federal look back prompted by questions about the shifted and at times contradictory information from authorities that have enraged the community and shock and sorrow. Again, this is all emotional. It's emotional, and that's what I'm going up. But I don't want to like touch on the emotional stuff. It's we've seen enough of that. We I want to get to solutions. So moving on, I'm not gonna go over the full story. Just looking at data and numbers. That says and doesn't say well. This is not what I want. Well, it's just a real quick. I just threw this in there. The most common property crime assault is most common violent crime. Larceny, theft, murder down at the bottom. Just I just saw that. I thought that was interesting. But this is where many adults who currently, according to Pew Research Center, many adults currently own a gun could see themselves owning one in the future. 69% do not own a gun, 30% do. 36% say they could see themselves owning one in the future. Just throwing some numbers out there. But this is interesting too. It's more of a mental aspect. Preventing people with mental illnesses from purchasing guns. Strongly favor. Broad support for barring people with mental illnesses for obtaining guns. Expanded background checks. And then opposed, allowing people to carry concealed. Opposed, allowing people to carry concealed guns without permit. Opposed. Strongly is for, it's not strongly, but broadly support for barring people with mental illness. But moving forward, I just want to keep this quick. Just make it a quick video. Again, here's a number. Here's some numbers on suicides versus murders that accounted for half the deaths in the U.S. In 2020, this is for the numbers in 2020. 54% were suicide. 3% other, 43% murder. Updated timeline, we just went over that. And see some responses. Robb Elementary School has 576 students. 84% are economically disadvantaged. I had this whole thing planned out that I wanted to go over, but I just want to touch on these few things. And solutions. I think at the end, if you stick with me to the end, there's solutions that everyone can do today, and it's really pretty simple. But stick with me through some of these number screens. I had these, like I said, I had this whole thing planned out, but I want to get down to my close. But I want to finish what I was like kind of planning on with some facts and numbers. But this, I don't really care who's really like tweeting, but as we see this human rights lawyer, author, dad jokes. I don't know where. I don't say where they're from. He hosts this Sirius XM channel radio show, but Robb Elementary has 576 students, 84% economically disadvantaged. Now, 19 were murdered, 17 bullet wounds, 538 are now emotionally scarred the rest of their lives. The school is one counselor, one. Yet, reading word for word, Uvalde police is 40% of the town budget. Another one says this is starting the good positive story. Out of all the negative stuff, this woman drove 40 miles to Uvalde, tried to get her kids out, and was arrested in the process. She escaped, so in custody, climbed fence, broke into the government school, and got both of her kids out safely. So there's actually some good news out of all this. Another win for non-compliance. So there's some good news coming out. I because I yeah, but again, you can take anything you see on Twitter with a grain of salt. But some good news coming out of this. And there's go come back to that, but I'm gonna take this full here, and I'm just gonna go right to the end here. What can we do? We're always asking and seeing people what can be done. What can we do? What is needed to be done? Skipping right to, I wrote it down here after all these facts. First of all, we asked the question, why are people doing bad things? It goes back to the clip what I played at the beginning of this clip. Why are people doing bad things? To get that response, to get that attention. Again, attention economy. Doing this for the attention. Negative, good, doesn't matter. Why are we doing that? Okay. Again, touched on, and I could go over some more of the stats, but I just want to get to what can we do as an individual, as a person, and it's kind of what I'm doing as well. Find something that you love to engage with, right? That's step one. Find something you love to engage with, something that you're good at, something you know that maybe you can show others. Find something you're good at, something that you can show people and talk to people about. Acknowledge the good the people do in person. Step two, acknowledge the good that people do, whether it's in person, whether it's online, digital, face to face. Acknowledge people for doing good. 'Cause you see that one ad or clip, I forget what it was exactly, but there, not out of 9 responses, people would often go to the one negative thing that was done, and they'd point that out pretty quickly. They'd go right to the negative thing and say, "You did this wrong." Oh, it's like, gotta go get them for doing that one thing wrong. But again, step two, acknowledge the good that people do in the world. Step 3, smile. Smile. Everything looks better on you when you smile. So hold it there for a second. 2 seconds, smile. Or smile as long as you can while you're doing something. Smile. Gratitude starts within, I wrote down starts within us. It starts with all of us. Connect with people. And again, when you're acknowledging what people are doing good, talk about the wins. I send like just random text like occasionally and saying, well, a lot of good positive quotes or just give me a win that you had this week. Comment down below. What's a win that you had down this week? I'm doing this right here in this video right now. What's a win that you had this week? And I will leave it there. This is just the beginning, by the way, but this is a start. This is where we start. That whole, what do we do? This is where we start. Enough of that emotional response to whether gun control or limit guns with people with mental incapacity or however you say that. It's enough of that. What can we do? Quickly again, find something you love to engage with, acknowledge the good people doing, smile, gratitude. I'm thankful that I have this every single day. It starts with us, starts here, starts with what you can do. Connect with people, talk about wins, ask about what wins people are having this week. Ask about their wins. What are they doing good? What are they doing great? You do that, that's just the beginning. You'll know where you go from there, from that rest of the time. And I will leave it there. Thank you for watching this video and clip, and hopefully tune into some other stuff I'm doing in the future.